Most manipulation doesn't sound like war, it sounds like care. It hides behind affection, behind smiles that don't reach the eyes, and behind questions that seem harmless, but are loaded with control. You don't notice it at first, because the most dangerous chains are invisible, forged from guilt, obligation, and false love. Welcome to Shadow Mind, the place where we dissect the dark corners of human behavior without fear, without filters. In this episode, we're not just talking about manipulation, we're exposing it. We'll break down the silent tactics manipulators use, the twisted psychology that traps you in cycles of compliance, and the brutal truths you need to hear if you ever want to escape. If you've ever felt like your choices weren't your own, if your boundaries have been slowly eroded by someone's kindness, then this is the moment you stop pretending. This is your wake-up call. You're not crazy. You're being controlled. And today, we'll show you how to take your mind back. Manipulation isn't loud. It doesn't scream or slam doors. It whispers. It smiles. It offers a hand, but always with strings attached. Real manipulation is the art of invisible control, getting someone to act, think, or feel a certain way without them even realizing it. It's not persuasion. It's not influence. It's exploitation of your emotions, your fears, your past, and your hopes. The manipulator isn't always the villain with a crooked grin. Sometimes it's the lover who says, "If you really loved me, you would." Sometimes it's the parent who makes you feel like a burden when you say no. Sometimes it's the friend who keeps score. It's the subtle guilt trip, the carefully planted doubt, the strategic silence. It's giving you just enough approval to keep you hungry for more. What makes manipulation so dangerous is that it feels like connection, but it's a performance. They mirror your pain, your dreams, your language, not to understand you, but to use you, to pull your strings until you dance the way they want. True manipulation is slow erosion of trust, of self-worth, of autonomy. And by the time you notice it, you've already built the prison yourself, brick by brick, thinking you were building a relationship. So ask yourself this: have you been heard, or have you been handled? You didn't let it happen because you're weak. You let it happen because you're human. Most people don't walk into manipulation. They're slowly walked there, step by step, wrapped in warmth, comfort, and familiarity. You let it happen because, deep down, you wanted to believe the best in them. You wanted love to be real. You wanted trust to mean something. And that hope, that deep, aching hope, is what made you vulnerable. The manipulator doesn't need you to be blind. They just need you to doubt your vision. We're conditioned to obey, to please, to be good. From childhood, many of us were taught that love is conditional. That being accepted requires sacrifice. That setting boundaries is selfish. So when someone manipulates us, it feels familiar, like home, even if it hurts. You let it happen because the fear of abandonment speaks louder than the pain of betrayal. You didn't fail. Your kindness was turned into a weapon. Your empathy was mapped, then used against you. And that's the raw truth. Manipulators don't pick the weak. They pick the giving, the understanding, the emotionally intelligent. Why? Because you'll explain away their behavior. You'll forgive before they even apologize. You'll stay, hoping they'll change. So don't hate yourself for staying too long. Don't shame yourself for trusting too much. Just remember this: once you see the pattern, it's no longer a mistake. It becomes a choice. And from this point forward, you choose who has access to you. Manipulators don't raise red flags, they wrap them in roses. They don't come at you with daggers. They come softly, sweetly, dripping in empathy they don't feel. Their tactics aren't obvious. They're surgical, designed to confuse, not confront. Gaslighting is their favorite. They rewrite your reality until you question your memory, your judgment, your sanity. You're too sensitive. That never happened. Little cuts that bleed over time. They don't need to be right. They just need you unsure. Guilt tripping is another tool. They'll make you feel like saying no is violence, like setting a boundary is betrayal. Your needs become burdens. Their pain becomes your responsibility. Love bombing is the bait. Intense affection, constant compliments, big promises early on, not because they love you, but because they need to hook you. Once you're high on their approval, they start the slow withdrawal. You chase the version of them that never existed. Triangulation keeps you off balance. They'll mention others, exes, friends, people who do it better to make you compete, to make you feel replaceable. It's not about love. It's about control. And finally, emotional fatigue. They wear you down. You stop fighting, not because you agree, but because you're exhausted. Because explaining yourself feels useless. Because the silence feels safer than speaking. These tactics aren't random. They're rehearsed, patterned, weaponized. And here's the brutal truth. Manipulators don't need to trap you. They just need you to doubt yourself long enough to stay. But the moment you name the game, you start to win it. Silence is never neutral. In the realm of manipulation, silence becomes complicity. Every time you swallow your discomfort, every time you nod while bleeding inside, you are reinforcing the very cage you want to escape. Silence does not protect you. It erases you, piece by piece. The cost of silence isn't just missed words. It's the slow erosion of your identity. You start doubting your own truth. You abandon your instincts. You rehearse peace in your head while chaos grows in your chest. You begin to shrink in rooms, in relationships, in mirrors. And here's the darkest part. Manipulators thrive in silence. Your hesitation becomes their oxygen. Your discomfort is their leverage. They know that as long as you're quiet, you're controllable. They don't fear your voice. They fear the day you finally use it. People say, choose your battles. But when your soul is under siege, silence is surrender. You think you're keeping the peace, but what you're really keeping is the pain. The cost of silence is regret. Years wasted in confusion. Trust shattered, not in others, but in yourself. It's the late-night whispers that say, why didn't I say something? It's the haunting truth that you were present, but not heard. Alive, but not living. Speaking up is terrifying, but staying silent is slow suicide. You don't have to shout. You just have to stop pretending everything's okay when it's not. Because every time you speak your truth, even with a trembling voice, you reclaim your power. And in a world built on manipulation, that is a radical act. Regaining control starts with a brutal truth. You were never powerless. The illusion of powerlessness is what they want you to believe. They want you to feel small, insignificant, like a leaf in the wind. But the moment you stop believing in that lie, you begin to reclaim your sovereignty. The first step to taking back control is awareness. Recognize the manipulation in all its forms. The gaslighting, the guilt trips, the guilt-free excuses they throw at you. The more you recognize it, the more you take away their ability to control you. Ignorance is what keeps the chain on your ankle. Awareness is the key to unlocking it. Next comes setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out, but the invisible lines that protect your worth. If you've allowed others to step on your dignity, this is where the real challenge begins. But boundaries aren't negotiable. They are the foundation of self-respect. If someone can't respect your limits, they don't deserve access to your energy. And that's something you have to own. Finally, trust yourself. In a world where manipulation thrives on self-doubt, your intuition is your greatest weapon. When you stop second-guessing your gut and start trusting your inner voice, the power shifts. People who manipulate want you to doubt yourself, but when you don't, the game is over. Taking back control doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. It's the battle between who you were before, lost in the cycle, and who you are becoming, a person who is unapologetically free. But with awareness, boundaries, and self-trust, you will no longer be the prey. You will be the predator. Let's cut through the illusions and speak the raw truth. Manipulation is a battle for control over your mind. It is a subtle war fought in silence, often without you realizing that your thoughts, emotions, and actions are being weaponized. For the manipulators, your mind is the ultimate prize. They've learned the game. They've studied the patterns. And they know how to keep you trapped in their web of lies and guilt. But here's the thing, Manipulation thrives when you are unaware. Once you wake up to it, you're no longer a pawn, you're a free agent. The moment you begin to recognize the manipulation for what it is, you tear down the invisible walls they've built around you. This is where your true power lies. The battle is not just with the people trying to control you, but with the version of yourself that allows it to happen. You're not a helpless victim. You are someone who's been conditioned to accept falsehoods, lies, and emotional manipulation as your reality. It's a hard truth to swallow, but once you face it, you can begin to reclaim the narrative of your life. You are not weak. You are not fragile. You are resilient, and you've been surviving the storm without even knowing it. But survival isn't enough. It's time to rise above. It's time to take back what was stolen from you, your sense of self, your autonomy, and your power. To stop being manipulated, you need to stop believing that your worth is conditional on others. You are worthy not because of what you can give, but because you simply exist. Your mind, your thoughts, your energy are yours. Guard them fiercely. And anyone who tries to take control of them without your consent, they're not worth your time, your trust, or your energy. The raw truth is this: manipulation only works if you let it. So stop letting it. You are your own person. Own it. Trust your instincts. Stand firm in your boundaries. And always, always remember, your power comes from within. That's the final message, the truth you need to hear. Your mind is your fortress. Never let anyone breach it again. The next chapter is yours to write. You are no longer the victim. You are the victor.